You would repeat the training cycle 7 times, 7 different weights, and you would permanently alter your athletic structure. That's the whole idea. We want to make sure that people are getting the most important human movement patterns so people can be out of pain. We want it to cost the least amount of money, and we want it to be portable. Hey guys, we got a new box here from Bells of Steel. This is going to be an adjustable mace. I think this is going to be the smaller mace. Terrible box opener, terrible box opener. It's going to be the smaller mace of the 2 maces that we are doing with Bells of Steel. There we go, that'll work. What we're trying to accomplish with Bells of Steel is we're trying to give people thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment for very little money. Normally with kettlebells, as you can see from my giant kettlebell rack, is you end up with thousands and thousands of dollars worth of kettlebells that are extremely heavy, that take up a ton of space. The same thing is true of maces. I have like 50 maces and they take up a ton of space and they're hard to transport. Once you get more than one, it gets a little out of control. So we're trying to solve that problem by getting people the minimum number of pieces of equipment and have them interact with each other. Maces are important. They work on your most fundamental human movement patterns, which is casting patterns. Casting means throwing patterns. So it doesn't matter what sport you play, you are doing some type of casting pattern, whether it is tennis, baseball, football, martial arts, armored combat. Everything has some type of casting pattern in it, so you should be training it. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what your athletic level is. If you have any type of back pain, shoulder pain, hip pain, knee pain, you should go back to the most important fundamental human actions, which is casting. Wow, they really wrapped this one up. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be what we're going to call the Mark II mace. The Mark I mace is going to be the big one that goes up to 70 pounds. The problem with that is that even a light mace with this head on it is really heavy for most people. So think 12K, 26 pounds plus handle will be somewhere around 30. This is going to be much more doable for most people. Here we go. Plates. 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram. There are our tools. They are the same tools that you use for the kettlebell. 6 to 12K kettlebell. Open it up. So 6K, 7K, 8K, 9K, 10K, 11K, 12K. Same thing is going to be true here. They're going to use the exact same plates. Most people will probably never get beyond this mace because this mace, 6K, is already heavy for most people. Empty, full. Same bottom, interchanges between both of them. Just empty will be over 6K. So we'll be at 6K plus handle, might put us at 6.5 in the range of 13.6, probably 14 pounds empty. We do have a solution if you want to make this lighter. Adjustable has made a 3D printed bottom for this Mark II Wildman Bells of Steel bell, and you're going to be able to get even lighter. That's going to take it down to 4K, 8.8 pounds plus handle. That's going to put you at 10 pounds. Honestly, that's where most men are going to start. And they're going to build up. They're going to do a volume cycle of training for their shield cast, which is your absolutely most important casting pattern with 2 hands. And then we can add a weight. 1K. We go from 4K, now you're at 5K. Then we jump that. Now we're at 6K. Then we add back. Now we are at 7K. And then we go to 8K, 9K, 10K, 11K. And the plates, I put them on in the wrong order, but we'll get up to 12K. That's the whole idea here. 1K is 2.2 pounds. So think about a 2.5 pound jump. That means you're going to go from approximately 10 to 12.5 to 15 to 17.5, and we're going to approach 30 pounds. Getting to just a 30-pound mace is challenging for most people, certainly. But now, instead of just buying all those separate maces, you're gonna have one mace to use, and you'll be able to use it for the next several years as you run through your training. So let's just make it empty here. There we go. Let's give it a shot real quick. Our most important movement, make sure we pick it up with good technique. Top hand goes past opposite ear, shield cast. And then eventually, when you get good, you'll be able to get to your single arm shield cast and then your near side shield cast and go up in weight. If you are a competition kettlebell guy, you need to add at least one cast into your training, the shield cast. If you are a power lifter, a barbell guy, religious barbell guy, and you do deadlift, back squat, and bench press, your life will greatly improve if you add just the 360, the shield cast, with two hands. Start with a lightweight, work your way up. Every movement is shoulder therapy. Every movement is arms, and every movement is spine and hip. Most barbell guys I know have injuries because they end up pulling, 2 times their body weight, approaching 3 times their body weight. This will help you warm up before you do barbell. If you're an Olympic lifter, throw in the shield cast. Kettlebell guys, throw in the shield cast. No matter what you do, the one exercise you absolutely have to do is the shield cast. On this, we made more knurling on the handle. We want knurling here at the bottom because when we're doing transitions, we're grabbing by the head. We want there to be some traction here. So when we are working on our transitions from side to side, we have grip here for when you're getting sweaty. And I wanted grip all the way up to the midpoint so that you can transition to wider grips over time. This allows you to also find the center of it by going from no knurling to knurling. Knurling close to the bell, which ironically is not on almost any mace, and knurling at least up to the halfway point from the bottom or the base of the handle. In the beginning, we worked on this competition adjustable kettlebell, and what we wanted to do was to get people all the weights. So the innovation we did with this big, we call it the Mark I kettlebell, is we added the half K plate. So there were already versions of this on the market, and you had 19 weight jumps. The easy thing that people didn't see was that you could add a half K plate, and you could take 19 weights, and you could make it 41 weights. So it used to go 12, 14, you skipped the 13, which is pretty big for most people, and you didn't get a 31, I think. But 31 and 13, the top and the bottom of the spectrum, are super important. Now we have 12 when this is empty, half K plate, 12 and a half. If you've been injured, if you're a military guy, every military guy I know has the same low back injury, then that getting through 12, 12 and a half, 13, 13 and a half, 14 allows people the amount of time that they need to recover and reestablish their core structure. Then we realized we needed to get beyond just this, 12K, and we wanted to get people to 6K. Once again, this was inspired by one of my military friends who had a very severe spinal injury, and he was on disability for absolute years, had an internal stim pack in his back that would send electrical signals, but he still wasn't moving very well. This was too heavy at 12K because of his injury. His body was in constant panic mode. So we worked with Bells of Steel, and we innovated this. This is the only one that this is made. No other company is making this particular product. We call this the Mark II. This was the Mark I, this is the Mark II. And this starts at 12K, and then you can adjust it in 2.2 pound increments or 1 kilogram increments. That means 6K is 13.2 pounds, sub 15, and then we can go to 7K, 8K, 9K, 10K, 11K, 12K. 12K transition, 12K, 12 and a half, 13, 13 and a half, all the way to 32K. That means you have all the weights you could probably ever need for 99% of the population with these two things. Problem with kettlebells is that you need a casting pattern. This is lifting and carrying, cleaning, pressing, get-ups, snatches, squats. Fantastic. Everybody needs to do that. All the stuff you do in a gym, replace it with this and do it anywhere, because now you can be consistent. If you don't have to drive to the gym, then you can wake up in the morning in the dead of winter in a log cabin. Before you go out and work for the day, you can adjust this weight to what you need for that day. You can change it every day, and you can pick it up and not put it down for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Build up the internal heat, move your body hundreds of times. Work on your injuries hundreds of times every morning before you leave the house. Now we are innovating this to this. Same core bottom, same weights, but now we're adding in the casting pattern. If you do your kettlebells and you do your swings, which is your deadlift analog, your clean, your press, your squat, your snatch, you work on not putting a weight down for 10 minutes. Now you can turn it into casting patterns. The most important pattern, standing up and rotating around your vertical axis. We call it yawing of the spine. And we're working on that 2 hands around the head. With a kettlebell, it would be a halo. The problem is the lever is short. Now we've added a big lever, which means you have to move better. And our goal is to get people with a 360 up to 10 minutes nonstop. When they get up to 12K, that'll put them somewhere around 26, 27, 28 pounds in that range. And now their spine is working very well. We are innovating to try to get 99% of the population what they need. We are always trying to get the most important movement patterns back to the greatest number of people. People in the modern world are not very healthy. We don't stand up well, we don't lift and carry, and we certainly don't do throwing patterns very well. So we need to reestablish movement endurance. It does not matter what sport you play. It does not matter if you play a sport. It does not matter your age. You should be doing lifting and carrying, casting patterns, and then ground engagement, learning to get up off of the ground in an infinite number of ways. You are never done training, and this is now going to allow hundreds of millions of people to get through the basics levels of training and to reestablish casting patterns. That's the most important thing. That's why we made this.